What's up guys, it's Lord Bother here with another video, and in this video we're going to be covering everybody's new highly anticipated game, Concord. We all are very hyped for the release of Concord, right?
No!
Now we are going to cover this article. We're not going to go through it line by line, but this comes to us from Forbes entitled, "There is no spinning how poorly Sony's Concord Open Beta went on Steam." While initial Steam numbers did not look great for the Open Concord Beta this weekend, the end result is even worse than I had anticipated. This is the Forbes writer's way of saying our expectations were low, but holy fuck. I expected at least some level of a surge from its initially low player count as the beta got going and we hit the weekend. Sundays are generally when most games peak, after all. That did not happen. Instead, player count declined.
That escalated quickly.
There are two main problems here. The first listed is the peak for free open beta is way too low. The game peaked at 2,388 players on Thursday when it launched.
Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
That is a very, very low amount of players in the context of a new multiplayer release. And while I'm certainly not expecting anywhere near Helldivers 2 level of surprise success, this is very bad. Hell, I'd even say that Helldivers 2 at its current state, which is pretty steep decline, actually dipped under 10,000 players this week, is still more highly successful than this piece of garbage. It's even worse when you remember that this free open beta and the final product has Concord priced at $40. That's right, we gotta keep in mind, this is not a free game that's coming out. This is actually a paid for play service. Reason number 2. Interest in the beta declined from day one. This may be the most concerning point, honestly. One of the positives Concord has going for it is the gameplay can feel pretty fun. But this chart indicates, 1, there was very little word of mouth getting other players to try, and 2, those who were playing became disinterested quickly and did not stay around. From its Thursday launch, player count declined every single day, and what should have been a peak Sunday was its lowest day of all for them, peaking at just 1,117 players. That is horrific. That is dismal. That is lower than Redfall opening numbers. They also give you this handy dandy figure here so you can see how shit their performance was. What's going on here? There are a few factors. Combat is good, but does not stand out enough. Even if it's a competent hero shooter, it's also another hero shooter in a crowded market, and it does not do enough to stand out enough from the crowd. It may attract some fans, but enough to be viable? That doesn't seem likely at this point. Two major points here. The first is that I can attest I didn't play the open beta, but I did watch some streamers that I trust that did play the open beta. And this game, in terms of its playability and the combat and all that they're referencing here, doesn't look that great. First of all, it looks like it feels slow, which means that actually playing it, it probably feels even slower. The UI seems messy and all over the place. And to be honest, it's hard to tell whether or not people are actually doing well or poorly in this game as they're playing. So when they say things in this article like, one of the positives Concord has going for it is that its gameplay can feel pretty fun, I don't really know what they're talking about. It looks incredibly not fun. Also, just from a business standpoint, blaming competition for why you're failing is what chronic failures do. If you're failing as a business, or if your game is failing to sell, it's most likely because you've made a shit game, or something is wrong with your business. Competition should make you try to get better and strive to do more. It's not there to be blamed when you can't meet the demands of those competing with you. The roster is not compelling. I'm not even going to read that part because I can tell you already. I've seen the roster. We've all seen pictures of the roster. They're all DEI characters that have pronouns in bio. Yeah, it's not compelling because we don't know who these characters are. We have no attachments to them. So why the hell should we care? And in general, they just look ugly and weirdly designed. The color schemes seem to be off the wall in every which way. It's not appealing to the eye at all. It's $40. In a competitive market, essentially all of its competition is free to play. Yeah, that's a fair point. When everybody else's game is free to play initially, telling everybody that your game is $40, you're gonna have to deliver something that's pretty good.
Not a great plan.
Now, if you did deliver something that's really good, say like The First Descendants, I'd be willing to actually spend the money to have access to all the stuff in that game, rather than be microtransaction to hell like that game does. They say down here as well, I think this is the Suicide Squad, they made a game that no one asked for problem. Yeah, that's putting it mildly. It's like Suicide Squad in the way that they were like, what if we made a game that was politically and culturally divisive, but we also made it ugly. And by that I mean even more ugly than Suicide Squad is. And made it about characters that nobody knows or gives a shit about. The hero shooter concept feels dated unless you're dealing with hyper-recognized IP, and they say Marvel's rivals here, or you can break out from the crowd with your heroes after people have been playing Overwatch and Apex Legends for years. Now they reference Marvel's rivals there, but I will say, I've seen gameplay of Marvel's Rivals. Marvel's Rivals looks like Overwatch, but just reskinned. Essentially, Marvel's Rivals looks like the same kind of thing they're doing to Star Wars Outlaws, where they've taken a clear clone of Han Solo from Star Wars Battlefront, given him a female skin, and then put it in the game and pretended all of us wouldn't notice. They've taken a lot of the things and animations from Overwatch, given them Marvel skins, put it in that game, and pretended we would all not notice. But either way, the numbers and all the buzz surrounding Concord is either negative or honestly just making fun of this game. I don't expect it's going to do well, and I think people are only going to be interested in it in the same way that they're interested in all things that are failing in media these days, watching how badly it performs and laughing at it. But those are just my thoughts on the subject. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you listening to all of it. We'll talk to you again later.